When did you realize your parents' discipline was actually straight-up abuse? My father demanded that all family members record themselves reading degrading self-criticisms for 30 minutes daily since age 6 because he believed hearing our own voices say we were worthless would make us work harder to prove otherwise. Every morning at 5 a.m., I'd walk down to the basement recording room. Foam padding covered the walls to muffle any crying. The red recording light would blink, and I'd begin my ritual of self-hatred. I'd read out, "My name is Casimir Volkov. I am a disappointment. I am weak. I am stupid. I am worth less than the dirt under my father's shoes." For 30 minutes, every single day. Father kept these recordings in locked metal cabinets, organized by date and child. He called them our motivation archives. During family dinners, he'd play them through speakers he'd installed in every room. We'd eat while listening to my sister Rivka sob through her failures, or my brother Dimitri's voice crack as he called himself pathetic. He'd sit there, eyes closed, savoring our breakdown like fine wine. Sometimes he'd replay sections, nodding along to the rhythm of our self-destruction. Mother never looked up from her plate. By 15, I had over 2,700 recordings stored in those cabinets. 9 years of programming myself for worthlessness. Father would reference specific recordings by number like they were precious memories. Recording 1,247, where I'd been especially broken after he'd beaten me. Recording 2,105, after I'd failed to make varsity basketball. Late at night, I'd hear Father in his study with his business partner Constantine. Drunk voices carried through the walls, laughing, arguing, sometimes even crying. One night, the sounds were different, more desperate, more real. I picked a lock to his study. Father sat slumped in his leather chair, Constantine beside him with a phone out, recording. But Father wasn't criticizing himself like he made us do. He was confessing. Real things, terrible things. The Fletcher embezzlement, the affairs with 3 different secretaries, how he'd beaten Dimitri so badly last year, he'd considered taking him to the hospital. Tax fraud going back a decade. They were both too drunk to notice me in the doorway. The next morning, while everyone attended my cousin's graduation, I used Father's master keys. Beyond our cabinet sat another locked section I'd never seen opened. Inside were hundreds of Father's own recordings, not just drunken confessions, but sober, detailed admissions, crimes documented like business receipts, affairs cataloged by date and hotel, every beating described with clinical precision. I spent 2 days digitizing everything, organizing his sins into folders the same way he'd organized our shame: financial crimes, infidelity, child abuse, tax evasion, business fraud. Father announced a special family dinner that weekend. He landed the Whitmore account and wanted to celebrate with our greatest hits, the recordings where we sounded most shattered. He started with Rivka's 13th birthday recording where she listed 50 reasons she didn't deserve to exist. Then Dimitri's after failing chemistry, repeating, "I am stupider than an animal," for 10 minutes straight. When he reached for my recording, I stood up. I pressed play on my phone. Father's voice filled the room, but not with criticism, with truth. I beat Casimir until he bled because Jenkins questioned my proposal at work. I needed to feel powerful again. His fear made me feel like a god. The color drained from Father's face, but I kept playing. The embezzlement details, the affair confessions, the tax fraud admissions, each word in his own voice, clear and undeniable. Father exploded from his chair, screaming about privacy, about respect, about betrayal. He grabbed Mother's arm, demanding she make me stop. When she pulled away, he turned to Rivka and Dimitri, ordering them to take my phone. They didn't move. He called Constantine, putting him on speaker, demanding he come over immediately with the legal papers. Constantine's wife answered instead. She'd received my email package an hour ago. Father tried another approach. He called Uncle Mikhail, the family lawyer, threatening to destroy me with lawsuits. But Mikhail had also received the tax fraud evidence. He advised Father to find a criminal attorney instead. Growing desperate, Father locked us in the dining room and ran to the basement. We heard him throwing our recording cabinets around, probably looking for something to use against us. He came back with recordings of all 3 of us children, playing them simultaneously at full volume. Our chorus of self-hatred filled the house while he screamed that we were nothing without him, that we'd beg for his forgiveness once we realized what we'd done. The doorbell rang. Police. The IRS had moved fast on those tax documents. As they led Father away, he kept shouting that he'd be back, that he owned us, that we'd never survive without his discipline. Even in handcuffs, he genuinely believed he'd win. He didn't. 15 years in federal prison. The house got seized for tax debts. The business collapsed within a month. We still have all our recordings. Sometimes I listen to recording number 2,700, my last one, but we don't make new ones anymore.